Oh, welcome back. I don't know what happened there, so I'm just going to make this a part two. So I left off with the three things that you want to keep in perspective when you're rewriting your story. You definitely want to know that three things about the mind. One, it thinks about things that happened to us. So it thinks about a situation that happened. I remember when I got chased by a dog. It thinks about that every now and then. It remembers that thing. It remembers that situation. It tells me to be on guard when I see dogs. Not that I hate dogs and I was traumatized, but it thinks. Number two, the mind believes what it experiences over and over again. If I'd have been chased by a dog twice, like for example, I actually did get chased by a dog once, and that experience, it happened. I rode a bike twice in my life, maybe three times, twice. I think it was twice, three at the most. Each time I failed. No matter what the circumstance was around me falling, each time I rode a bike, I failed. So my mind remembered that, and I believed every time I got on a bike, I would fall. I believed that. That was my fear from not even just getting on a bike. I didn't have a fear of it. I just didn't want to do it. I never decided to learn. I never learned as a child. And for the first time, probably about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, no, about 3 weeks ago, I rode my son, who's 8. I rode his bike, and I literally was... But I didn't have that fear, and it actually felt good. I didn't care about who was looking at me. I didn't care about anything. And my grown 44-year-old ass out there wobbling like a little kid, having fun with the experience of learning how to ride a bike. And that fear was no longer in me. But my brain remembered and believed that. Now the brain repeats what it believes. What it believes to be true, the brain repeats. And that is its way of protecting your ego. So again, in riding that bike, I believed that I would fall. So if a bike ever came near me, I would not get on it, because my ego did not want me to be embarrassed falling in front of those particular people at that particular situation. And even not even talking about not riding the bike, because my ego would be my ego would be irritated or triggered just to be laughed at for not being able to ride that bike. So once you realize these three components, what you can do is to begin to tell yourself something differently. Not only will this help you manifest in the physical and the spiritual realm, but it'll also allow you to reinsert something into your brain so that it can begin to rely and trust and believe this. So again, you'll go with the notion of you're not good enough. Of course, that's not true. So you'll go with the belief system, girl, bye, boy, bye. You are more than enough. That's your new belief. You're going to keep telling yourself that. And then you're going to put yourself in situations where the belief is true. So you're going to, even if it's the smallest things, you're going to find a way to be confirmed and affirmed that you are good enough. So start in small places to rebuild what it is that you lost before through a previous experience. Okay? So retraining your brain to believe and to think something. So in the future, when the same situation or experience similar to comes around, your brain will know what to do. Just like that traumatic experience as a kid with me and that dog, had that happened to me, I would definitely probably have a fear against dogs. But if I can see good dogs, put myself at a dog shelter place, or, you know, somebody with a sweet dog, and see how all dogs are not like that, then that'll begin to retrain my brain so I can begin to create new, different, better experiences with that animal where it can change my mind and create a new story. So then my story for the dog would be, All dogs aren't bad. I just had a bad experience with that dog. That he could have been hungry. He could have been scared. I don't know. But you learn to reboot your brain system. It's like starting a computer. It's like rebooting the hard drive of your computer. You're getting rid of all of the old toxic information, all of the bad gigabytes and megabytes and whatever else bytes that's on there. And you're restructuring the way that your brain sees yourself. You're restructuring the way your brain thinks about you and does what it does. So you're erasing the old images and recording new ones. That's pretty much what you're doing. So how do you rewrite your story? By doing inner child healing sessions. You got to speak positivity and truth into your situation. You definitely have to be loud and clear with what the truth really is. And I have to rewrite that story about that dog. Rewrite that story about that dog. The dog could have been hungry. It could have been me. Now let me tell you a story about my father. When I was about 10 or 11 or 12 years old, my dad was going on his way out of town. On his way out of town, asked me to go get something out of the trunk of his car. I did. I accidentally locked the keys in the trunk of the car. Pissed off, livid. He was angry. I was scared to tell him. And I've never been scared to approach my father about anything. But that particular time, I knew he would be upset because he was literally on his way on the road. Oh, go tell him I locked the keys up. What does he do? Instantly. Angry. You're the dumbest child in the world. I ain't heard nothing else. I don't know what he said after that. That's all I heard. For the next 30 years, that's all I heard. That is why I have this degree, that certificate, this, that. I was chasing what I knew to be untrue. I'm the dumbest child in the world. So therefore, every time it was time for me to make a big decision or to make a choice, I got stagnated and scared because I was dumb. Subconsciously, that was in the back of my head. So everything I did, and I did so well at and excelled at so much and invested so much to prove to the one person who, one, is no longer here, but two, I never even mentioned that he bothered me by saying that. And to prove to myself, because I actually believed that I was dumb as hell for locking them keys up. When in reality, when I rewrote my story, my father actually, and no offense to him, may he rest in peace, but he made a bad choice. So we want to use his words. He was the dumb one. Because, and I'm not calling my father dumb, but again, I'm using his reference to what he was saying. Because why would you let a 10-year-old go do something that a grown-up should have done? I had to remove myself from the essence of even thinking that I was dumb. I had to prove it. I had to reaffirm it by looking at my book that I wrote, by looking at my children that I reared, by looking at the accomplishments, my contest for winning in the University of Michigan for a writing contest, or being selected to write in a magazine, things of that nature, being selected to write a speech and to do a speech and to do other things, being celebrated for the accomplishments that I have achieved on my jobs. I had to begin to see that no dumb as hell, the dumbest person could never achieve that. So I had to really affirm to myself that I was not dumb. And it really subconsciously was deeply rooted. And it really paid a basis on the men that I selected in my life. Because I, self-fulfilling prophecy, affirmed what I believe, which is what my father told me, which is dumb. I chose the dumbass partners that were not smart for me, because it reaffirmed that I was dumb. So the childhood trauma that my father instilled in me became an adulthood issue, an adulthood toxicity that I had to explore first and to heal from and get through. So now I don't feel that way. I know damn well I'm not dumb. I know I'm not, and if I am dumb in some areas, I ain't the dumbest person in the world. And I literally had to go through the process of the adult person that knows better talking to the child person that didn't know better, that was not comforted. And I even went to the extent of speaking to my mom about it, and she says she doesn't remember this, but I don't remember either if she was there or not. I just remember that she didn't protect her. So I was not only subconsciously angry with my dad, but I was consciously angry with my mom for not protecting me. Always angry with my mom, because everything that happened to me, I always converted back to, you're my mom, you didn't protect me. So I was angry with her with all of those things. So once I put in the shadow work, I was able to rewrite the story from the false narrative to what was true, to what gave me the ability to remove the things that I'm going to list to you now from my life and my thinking and my way of doing things, so I can progress and move forward. So what rewriting the story does, it removes the shame that you may have. It removes the guilt that you may have. Because for a long time, in discovering I was angry with my father, I was guilty. Before I had feelings of guilt subconsciously, not knowing. Subconsciously guilty subconscious thoughts about my mother, not knowing. I felt shameful of these things, which kept me at a distance from loving and reaching out to her. And once I realized that, and that's what the shadow work does, it flashes the spotlight on the darkest parts of who we are. You know, and once I flashed that light, the Holy Spirit revealed to me what those shadows, that's what a shadow is. When you see a shadow, you're seeing the background of who you are. You're not seeing the true form. So the shadow parts of this experience with my father was, I'm not the dumbest child in the world. That was just a shadow, but it's not a true form. And people chase shadows, never catching up to the true form. So that's what rewriting your story does. It helps you to catch up and rewrite your true form. Rewriting your story helps you to remove the embarrassment. So the embarrassment of having that shadow, you no longer have to deal with, because you're putting a light on it. It's no longer a shadow. So you're able to say, you know, I was mad at my father for leaving me and my mom at the bus stop when it was raining. I'm no longer embarrassed to say that, even though he's deceased, but I don't care. That was wrong of him, and I'm okay with being upset with that, but I forgive him for it. You know, it removes the fear of rejection. Being able to tell your story and having someone reveal your story to you as if it's something wrong takes that away. So that rejection that you feel that someone might not accept you, so what? So what? I've experienced XYZ, so what? ABC. And it doesn't change who I am. You become empowered in who you are by rewriting your story. It removes the old version of who someone lied and told you you were, and replaces it with the truth of who you are. It removes the false narratives of your life, those false versions of what happened. You begin to see what the truth is behind them. It removes the internalization from everything that you've gone through and things that you continue to go through in your life. And most importantly, it removes that weak-mindedness, because you're no longer weak in the areas where you should be strong, because you now know the truth of what it is. So rewriting your story is historical in the sense of living your best life. It is that paradigm shift that'll help you to transition and move from one point to the next. It is what opens your eyes. It is what detaches you from the brokenness and the shadows of your past. So I'm going to give you 2 assignments. And again, if you're with the Ready to Leave Them kit, these assignments are for you as well. But if you are interested in getting a coaching session, and you are interested in healing from the narcissistic abuse that you're dealing with, and you are interested in beginning your process of removing yourself from this person's life, or removing them from your life, then do these homework assignments. Do them. Take the time and drop your comments below and let me know what your answers are and if you want assistance. But before I give you the homework assignments, I'm definitely going to give you my contact information. If you want to reach me, you can reach me on Facebook Messenger. My name is Tanya, the author Austin. But when you go on my page, you'll see Tanya Austin. You'll see me definitely with my book poster and me in a red dress. And that was my book signing. So there's multiple Tanya Austins. So you'll do facebook.com/Tanya the author Austin, but when you go on my page and see me, it'll say Tanya Austin. So just so you know, heads up. Because I do have multiple pages, and I'm actually in the process of downsizing them because I have too many. But yeah, I'm trying to get more into not being all over the place. But yeah, and you can reach me at my Facebook page. You can messenger me. You can email me at CoachTanya@gmail.com, and that's Tanya with an O, not an A. So CoachTanya@gmail.com. Or you can text me or call me in my cell, my personal cell, 248-842-8671. And that cell will be changing soon, but I do like to give it out just in case before I do transition and switch my number over, you still want to reach me. But I am letting everybody know to beware that you can always email me, so you definitely are able to reach me that way. So assignment number 1, I want you to write about a traumatic experience or a traumatic situation from your past that still triggers you. You're still triggered by it. Like for me, that dumbest child in the world was still a trigger until I faced it. Write what happened. Write it out. Just write it out. Take a page, a composition page. Write it out. And then on the front of that composition page, write it out. On the back of that composition page, I want you to rewrite the story to reflect the truth of what God would say about you. And even though the situation may still be the same, my daddy calling me that, stop there. Keep it there, but from that perspective, go from the perspective of a higher source so that it can get into your system and get into your blood and start being the truth for you. Assignment number 2, rewriting is the adult version of speaking to the child or the little girl or the little boy or you comforting that little girl or that little boy in you. So that's what the rewriting is. So write out what the adult as a parent, and speak from as a parent perspective. It's you now. It's the knowledge that you have now. It's the knowledge and information that you have now as an adult at your age now. But I want you to step into the role of your child, the kid that you were at 10 or 11 or 9 or 8 or whatever the traumatic experience age was. Be that parent. So the knowledge that you have, don't be your parent. So remove all of the false narratives that you think parenting was or should be or whatever, but step into that role of that comforting parent and comfort. I'm sorry, there's a funeral going on TV. Excuse me. Comfort that little boy or that little girl and tell them the real, true version of what it is about what's going on. Tell them what you would have said or what you would say now. Like I said, the knowledge that you have now about you. Like I would tell that little girl, oh, baby, you know your daddy was upset. You are definitely not the dumbest child in the world. Actually, he was a little foolish by asking you to do it. And he's mad at himself. He doesn't know how to handle it. But you are definitely smart. You are loved. I love you. You are good. I'm sorry. Your daddy didn't mean it. Even if he doesn't apologize for you, don't mean that. And give him a hug. Give me a hug. And I revert to that. And I remember that. Because that is the truth. That is the truth. That is actually what happened. And that's what my brain needs to know and understand. That is the truth. So once you've done that, accept it is truth to whatever it is. Accept it as real. Affirm it to yourself every day. So I had to affirm to myself every day that I am not the dumbest child in the world, that my father made a poor choice and he shifted it and projected that poor choice onto me. Which is why I later understood why I've always dealt with narcissistic people, because that's a form of projection. And come to think of it, I have to even actually study to see if my parents were narcissistic, because they probably were. Probably were, which is probably why they were unable to give me the things that I needed. I don't know. I have to dig deep and find out for myself. So those are your 2 assignments. That is the topic for now with rewriting your story. Definitely know that if you are interested in I'm offering free coaching sessions. Your first session, and it's actually a process that I go through, where you get 3 interactions with me, 2 or 3, I should say. The first 2 are free. The third one determines our paid relationship from there. But if you want more information about that, I could definitely get you the information that you need. If you're interested in the Get Ready to Leave Them kit, I can definitely send you information about that. But know that rewriting your story is the beginning of you living your best life yet. And to leave a narcissist, or to become empowered within the relationship of a narcissistic, abusive, because you got to keep in mind, a narcissistic relationship is very toxic and it's very abusive. It's dangerous. There were some days where I could have lost my life for real, or I could have taken a life for real. So you have to be seriously and understanding it. And even I have a video that I will be doing following this one, that's going to actually talk about why we stay with narcissists. Because if you can get an understanding of why you do it, then you can change your perspective, because that requires rewriting your story. Because for the longest time, I thought it could be possible to maintain that relationship with him, because he was very narcissistic at the highest realm of it, and very conscious of his narcissism, and used it as a defense mechanism as well as a weapon. So at that point, I had to realize loving him was killing me. And I had to discern why I was choosing to stay with him. What was it that I still had to divinely be guided to learn? It was so much. But when I learned it, I was out. He served a purpose and it was over with. So anyway, that required rewriting my story. That is what empowered me to leave this man. And it is what's going to empower you to leave your toxic, narcissistic, abusive mate as well. Okay? So don't forget to like and subscribe to this page. Like and share. Hit that bell so that you can definitely get the latest videos that are coming out. Don't forget my contact information. Check me out on social media. Leave a comment below. Do those assignments and reach out to me if you want that free coaching session. I am available for you because I am your personal coach. This is Tanya K, and I'm out. Bye.